little bit about that, the gift exchange.
Well, it came from, I forgot to include the collaborative action plan, because Chris came up with this very simple formulation which changed the practice of an entire profession in a certain place, the public health nurses in Vancouver. And I wrote a story about that because it was so striking that simply by changing the formulation of the intake, instead of negative, it became positive, because it was asking all the elements of the social ecology, as many as you could, together. Not only did you have a way to honor the community, which never happens in standard mental health, but you also could find unexpected strengths and supports, and you looked for those, and you gave each other those gifts that had to do with support and strength. And this was highly important to the, especially peoples that are more close to the indigenous beginnings of social life, like in Mexico and in South America. And I mean, everybody's partly Indian or African or whatever. And so we're facing a different world in that sense. So Chris came up with a formulation, I mean, very simple. On one hand, you would ask, what gifts and potentials can this person give to the community? And then what can the community give back in turn? What gifts and potentials? So it's not making everything positive, but it's identifying, nurturing, and sustaining results, which is what Christopher Alexander feels is the mark of an alive system, or an alive community, or an alive a square or a courtyard that's dead versus one that's alive. And I think that's an important distinction.
And the person that you're asking the question of determines the answer to that question. It's not a rhetorical question. It's not a question that you, as the therapist expert, knows the answer to. You do not determine. So it's a very different process, and I think it fits with Lois's idea of talking in order to listen. It's the way that you begin to talk to the other person, which begins to influence the way that you begin to listen to them. So it's this mutual, you're influencing each other in the process.
And in the collaborative action plan, it was specifically listening. In the collaborative action plan, it was specifically listening not to a person, but to a people.
Yeah.
And you had to find the people. And so it wasn't...
You create a community.
Yes.
By the kinds of questions, cross-questioning and questioning.
And the people together, the language is generated from the people. And the conversation doesn't have to have all the people at once.
Yeah, so they can be imagined or...
Yeah, but they can be different conversations. But they come together through the person or the family that we're talking about.
Yeah.
But in the collaborative action plan, those voices of that people are reflected. Yeah.
Well, it's how you build a web, a social, a web of bonds, social bonds with others. I like that phrase of Tom Anderson.
It reminds me also of that Deleuze phrase that I've used to describe you and your work in creating the Deleuze phrase that I've used to describe you and your work that goes like this: you create a people who do not yet exist.
Yes, I love that.
And so we engage in practices that create a people that do
In
not yet
any
exist.
work of art, this is the
That's it.
background.
Yes.
Any work of art creates a people that did not formerly exist.